Hey everyone, for those who don't know, I hosted a large creator card competition. This video will be me sharing some of what I believe were the best cards submitted. And before we get into the video, I just want to say thank you to everyone who took part in the competition, because this literally would not be possible without you. Now, I spent a lot of time reading, grading, organizing, and choosing my favorite of the hundreds of cards submitted. So if you like today's video, please consider subscribing. It goes a long way. Now I'm gonna quit stalling, so let's just hop into the video. Now I know you're here for the cards, but before we get into that, it's important to note that I was judging them based off of 4 categories. Creativity. How unique is the card? This is important because I received hundreds of cards and a lot of them were honestly pretty similar. Fun. Exactly what it sounds like. How much fun would it be to use? Balance. Again, pretty obvious. Is the card balanced? And finally, theming. This one's also pretty simple, like would it make sense to have in the game? Does it fit with the other cards? Could Ninja Kiwi realistically add it to the game? Now that that's out the way, I'm going to go through my top 3 cards for each category, with a few honorable mentions, and then at the end, I'll be giving out some miscellaneous awards to other cards. Starting off with the monkeys, here in 3rd place is Moab Assassin. As you can tell, what is really propelling its score is just how balanced and on theme it is. This is absolutely a card I could imagine Ninja Kiwi adding in the next update. Its creativity score is a little low just because this card isn't a very unique idea. Now, it is the only card of its type that was submitted, but like I said, not a particularly unique idea. And the fun category kinda hits the same note there. It would be a card you slot in your deck to synergize with other cards, or to fill some space, not the card that you build your whole deck around. But that all being said, I love this idea, and again, this is just like such a card that Ninja Kiwi would add. I mean, if you showed me this, I'd be like, yeah, that's probably already in the game. Now let's just get into the next card. Next card we have is the Card Dealer. I love this card so much. It just seems like a fun card you could genuinely build a full deck around, hence the fun score of 5 out of 5. Next is Creativity. It is definitely the most creative monkey that was submitted for a multitude of reasons. First of all, it isn't just some regular monkey, it's a unique monkey, being the Card Dealer. And also, its ability is extremely unique to anything that I saw while going through the submissions. However, its ability being so unique is kind of what hurts its theming score. The idea of a monkey's reload and damage varying every turn is something that is so different from the rest of the game. I do have a hard time believing that Ninja Kiwi would add it to the game, at least now. But once they start to add some more unique mechanics, I could potentially see something similar to this being added. That being said, I still just love this card so much. Genuinely seems like so much fun, and I think it was an amazing submission. So now we're just gonna get into some honorable mentions that just barely missed the cut. Moving into your first place monkey card here is the Harpoon Monkey, going score by score here. Firstly, for creativity, it's very unique. Although I've seen mechanics similar to this in other card games, I did not see any other submissions that worked anything like this. Next is fun. This is absolutely the type of card that could be a core part of your deck. If you have a few card spots left in your deck, this is the card that you put in just because why not? Nextly is Balance. This card also seems very balanced to me. I think it has just the right amount of damage, cost, and reload time. Also, not being able to hook large balloons is really what puts it over the edge of being truly balanced to me. Finally is Theming. I think this card hits the nail on the head when it comes to being a very unique card, but still something that I could see Ninja Kiwi including, because although we don't have anything that takes balloons, we do have a card that takes monkeys, so it's reasonable to assume that a card that takes balloons makes sense within the game. This card very much exists in the boundaries of rules that Ninja Kiwi has laid out so far, and for all these reasons, that's why the Harpoon Monkey is the winner for the monkey category of this competition. I'm not going to waste any time, let's just hop into the third place balloon here, which is the burning balloon. This idea is not very complex, but that's part of why I love it. I saw a couple balloons that were based around doing damage to your opponent's balloons or your opponent's face or something like that, and of course I saw a couple other fire related ideas, but this is the balloon that I think did it best, both fire and the damage mechanic. It has a low fun score because it is a card that you can't really base a deck around since it's more of a supporting card. That's also what contributed to it having a high theming score. I think that it would fit very well into the current game we have now, and in terms of balance, I think it could have either a third charge or a bit more health, but besides that, I think it's totally fine as is. And again, this is just another one of those cards I could totally see Ninja Kiwi adding to the game in the next update. The siphoning balloon seems very interesting. I've seen mechanics like this in other games, but I only saw one other submission that translated this ability into Bloon's card storm. I just don't think it was done as well. Now for the fun, this card got a super high score because it's absolutely a card that you could build a deck around and just have a ton of fun with. Just reading it, I can think of ideas on how you can control the damage you take. It is also a high risk, high reward card, since you get more power by having lower health. High risk, high reward is just inherently fun. The theming is also pretty alright. It's a card that I could see in the game, and it wouldn't be terribly out of place, but it wouldn't be, extraordinary special. I don't know if you guys understood what I just said. Makes sense in my head. I think you guys know what I'm saying, though. The only thing that hurts its score is its balance, which is pretty self-explanatory. I think you can definitely get tons of value from it for a pretty cheap cost, which I get is the point of the card, but it definitely seems too strong. So if you have any ideas on how to balance this card or any other card I show in the video, just let me know in the comments. But let's just hop into some honorable mentions. Finally, in first place, we have the randomized balloon. Going stat by stat here, firstly we have the creativity stat. Now originally, I was thinking it's a fairly average idea, definitely unique, but nothing insane. And then I saw that it's a hero exclusive balloon, which is something that we haven't seen in game yet, and it was only one of 2 hero exclusive balloons that were submitted. And I'll skip a few beats, but this takes me into theming. This card works perfectly as an Amelia exclusive, so I think that it really fits well in that sense. We just haven't seen a card generator to this magnitude yet. Next is fun, which is extremely self-explanatory. It can be super highlight generating card and thus fun. Finally, balance. By far this card's weakest category. I think it should be given a ton of shield, like maybe even 200, especially as a hero exclusive. But the problem isn't with its abilities, so it's not too big of an issue. Now, we're gonna get into the top 3 powers and then the miscellaneous awards at the end, but I need to preface this by saying that the powers were definitely the hardest to grade, and especially to pick a top 3, hence why this will have extra honorable mentions. Jumping into third place card here, we have Surprise Gift. Now the reason why creativity is only a 3 is because I did see another card that was a super similar idea. I just don't think that the other card was executed as well as this one. Now I know that this idea is also a balloon, but it's my list, so keep moving forward here. I think this card is a ton of fun. Definitely something that has its uses and could have tons of highlight potential, like if you totally screw over your opponent with it. Nextly, I think this card is super balanced, because although you're putting some balloons on your opponent's side, it's important to note a few things. First of all, whoever plays it has to take 25 damage, but some other drawbacks include that it could waste mortar shots, and it would waste defender ammo, meaning that although it has its strength, it still has some reasonable drawbacks. Getting to the second place card here, we have Ultimate Greed. Now I like the idea of this card a lot. Kinda like the last one, it has an obvious drawback. I didn't see any other ideas that were similar, but I know similar-ish things exist in other games. Also, I think this card is mad fun. Definitely a card that could be a core piece of a ton of strategies that could allow you to rush things like monkeys and setups that you wouldn't be able to usually. It would also allow you to perform some more hype combos and whatnot while still having a hint of RNG to keep you on your toes. Balance-wise, I'm honestly not entirely sure of how balanced this is. It seems more like a card that would have to be played to really see how good it is, but it doesn't seem too egregious, so hence the score. Finally is theming. It genuinely seems pretty on theme with the game, and it wouldn't be too crazy considering we have other gold garnering powers like favorite trade. Now into some honorable mentions. Finally, for the first place winner of the powers, we have Polymorph. This card just seems like pure-hearted fun, and I can already see some synergies, especially with one-time use monkeys like Thunder Druid. Honestly, not a whole lot I can say about this card except that I love the idea behind it. It's definitely a unique idea, it seems balanced, pretty wild, but still generally on theme, and definitely a possible card. Also, fun. This card would be so much fun. The amount of highlights I can already see and the BS crazy wins. Like, imagine using this on something like a 130 power super late game wizard just in hopes of getting a pink balloon, and you actually do. I mean, you're going all in there, and it just seems like so much fun. The highlights would be crazy. High risk, high reward. I love this card. Ninja Kiwi, this is probably one of my favorite overall cards we got in the entire submission. So now we're just going to show off some miscellaneous categories of cards that I wanted to still highlight. Thank you all who watched this video, and extra thanks to those who submitted. I had so many good options to go through, so even if your card didn't make the video, do not be discouraged. That being said, let me know if you guys liked me doing a community contest like this, and if so, what you would want to see me do or host. Thank you all for watching. See you later.